have left the community in shock. Witnesses reported around 5 explosions leading to widespread panic. Visuals from right after the blast on your screens. The injured have been rushed to nearby hospitals, including the Kalamassery Medical College. Now, the cause behind this devastating incident remains unknown, casting a somber atmosphere over the entire area. Fire brigades, the NIA, the NSG, and of course the local police along with the ATS have been quickly rushed to the spot. The blast seems to have been caused by an IED and low intensity explosives, as reported by sources. Now, the NSG and the CT operatives have rushed to the site of the blast. This is along with the National Investigation Agency and of course the ATS as well. And in the meantime, you've got Veena George, the Health Minister of the state of Kerala, who said that 7 people are currently inside the ICU and 35 under medical treatment. Kerala Health Minister has been taking to various social media platforms to give the updates to the people. Health Department Director and Medical Education Department Director have been directed to provide the best medical treatment in the wake of the Kalamassery blast incident. Hospitals have been cautioned. 35 people have so far sought treatment and 7 are in the intensive care unit. This after the Health Minister of the state, Veena George, cancelled leaves and holidays for all those government doctors and hospital staffers that were sitting at home. They've been rushed back inside the hospital. Meanwhile, you've got the Chief Minister of Kerala who said that they are taking this very seriously, and it is of course an unfortunate incident. One lady has lost her life in these blasts. 5 of them, according to witnesses that were present on the spot. It was 1,000+ people gathering, in which right in the heart of the convention center the blast went off. This is what we're picking up at the moment. Serial blast in Kerala's convention center in Kalamassery belong to the Jehovah Witnesses group. The blast took place 5 minutes after the prayer started. This is again a first-person eyewitness account that is being shared on various media portal sites. A person who was at the hall during the blast, speaking to various media agencies, said that the blast took place within 5 minutes after the prayer started. There were more than 2,000 people in the hall. The devotees who gathered for prayers remained with their eyes closed during the blast, and many could not comprehend what was happening, being reported by the witnesses. Some reactions coming across from various stakeholders. Take a look.
അല്ലെങ്കിൽ വരാൻ സാധ്യതയില്ലല്ലോ. നമ്മൾ സ്റ്റേജിലോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മോളിലോ ഇലക്ട്രിക് കണക്ഷൻ പോയിരിക്കുന്ന സ്ഥലത്തേക്ക് ആവുമ്പോൾ സ്വാഭാവികമായിട്ട് നമുക്കത് വല്ല ഇലക്ട്രിക് ഷോർട്ട് സർക്യൂട്ടോ അങ്ങനെയുള്ള സ്ഥലത്തല്ല ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പൊ എന്തായാലും വളരെ ഗൗരവത്തോടു കൂടി അന്വേഷണം ഗവൺമെന്റ്, പോലീസ്, എല്ലാ സംവിധാനങ്ങളും ഒക്കെ ചെയ്യാം. നമുക്കറിയില്ലല്ലോ. I was told that there were 2 blasts and there was a fire. First there was a major blast, second one was minor. And one died. 100% gone. And 25 persons are in the hospital. Out of 25, 6 persons are in ICU. Immediately started from there on, and they had a evacuation plan. Usually they are requesting their audience regarding the evacuation plan. That is why the accidents and casualties are less.
So 1 person has been killed, at least 30+ people currently injured, 7 in the ICU, 35 seeking treatment in various hospitals. Veena George has cancelled all those holidays. The NSG, the NIA, the ATS and the local police all rushed to the ground. The Kerala Chief Minister has also come out with a statement. But to decode exactly what's happened and what does it imply, I'm joined by my colleague and the Deputy Managing Editor of News 9, Karthik Sharma, with us on the broadcast. Karthik, a very warm welcome. First, right at the outset, I mean, how are you looking at these developments? The day began on a somber note, and now we're learning the 5 blasts had taken place right in the bank center of the Jehovah Witnesses, congregation hall.
I'm pretty disturbed about it, in the sense that this is taking place in the wider context of the Palestine and Israel conflict, which has the capacity to radicalize. That's one. And secondly, it's not Kerala has been immune to terror strikes. If you recall, in late 90s, when then Home Minister L.K. Advani had gone there was a plot to assassinate him. Films were made on it, and L.K. Advani survived to see the other day, because the planning which was being put in place was not executed the way it could have. So in a way that those blasts did not yield the results, and then subsequently it led to the arrest of Madni. Long trial happened, but it shows that the radicalization of the community is not limited to, as earlier, which in 80s and 90s would say that it is a North Indian phenomena. You see, there are a couple of things which have happened. Now, these blasts which have taken place have similar resemblance, if you recall, the blast which took place in Sri Lanka. So I would say that not everything which remains in India has to be something very Indian effect. South Asia has a very close-knit community. So if you look at those blasts which took place, that's one very, very disturbing phenomena. Now, I don't want to jump the gun and say which community is behind it till the things come out, but I would definitely say that the world is a very polarized place after Israel-Palestine War 1. Secondly, for convention centers, places of worship, to be attacked like this is something which is disturbing, because Kerala is a pretty plural society. There's a cultural identity of being a Keralite, and then you have 3 distinct religious groups which jostle for space with each other, literally, in terms of community, in terms of politics, in terms of religion, Kabir. And lastly, I would say that it's not about how many people have died, it's not about how many people have been injured, it's about the fact that this happened. Right. It's about the fact that we are not immune to this sort of a blast. Now, it's entirely dependent on what sort of a classification is given. That's the, I would say, the travesty, or you would say, that's something, the reality of the modern day life. Unless and until you classify an act, certain vocabularies of language cannot be put to use. So, whether it was done by a miscreant, whether it's a terror attack, which community was behind it, was it an individual lone wolf? I'm not going to hazard any guess. But as the graphics which you have put out, Kabir, the series of blasts, the Sunday gathering of the Jehovah Center, it just goes on to show that there's a religious bent. You see, who does that? Unless and until, who attacks a prayer hall? There has to be, it's not religiosity. It's not religiosity. It is, only a fanatic can do that. Only a fundamentalist can do that. And fundamentalists have ruined a beautiful word called a fundamental, which is a science word, fundamental. But nonetheless, coming back to Kerala, I would say that this must have run the alarm bells.
Certainly, Karthikeya. But at the same time, apologies to butt in over there. The idea, because we were just listening to some of the eyewitnesses who were present there when the blasts went off. They said it happened 5 minutes after the prayers began. So who did it is a completely different question. And of course, the Kochi airport is just half an hour away from this particular convention center. So the NIA, the NSG, they will all have, something in terms of a statement coming from these central agencies. But 5 minutes into the prayer, it seems like the execution was really well planned.
I would say execution. You see, if we, for example, if I start looking into the wires which have started coming, because you broke the news on News9 Live, and let me just take out what is being reported. There were thousands of members.
Right.
Let me be very clear. The wires are reporting there were thousands of people there. That's one. And then it also goes on to say that the Kerala police is on high alert. It was a Sunday prayer convention of a Christian denomination. That's second. Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan told the media that the incident was unfortunate and the police has taken a very serious view.
Right.
The incident happened at the Jehovah's Witnessing gathering at the Zamara International Convention and Exhibition Center at Kalamesari, the graphic which you ran. Around 2,500 faithfuls across the state had gathered for a prayer session. Eyewitnesses told reporters that the blast happened in the middle of the convention center. The first blast among the many explosions occurred around 9:30 a.m., minutes after the day's prayer session began. The blast took place 5 minutes after prayer session started. There was a series of blasts from the stage of Convention Hall, which has around 2,000 people. Indian Express has reported this. Now, this was a 3-day Friday prayer. The police has sealed the convention center and began a probe to ascertain the cause of the blast. The Indian Express reports that. Senior police officers have rushed to that place. Now,
Right.
that's the Indian Express reporting. Now, I would say, first of all, did the Kerala police miss something? Did they miss something? That's one. The second thing is, in last 48 hours, one of the members of the terrorist organization Hamas, he was able to do a live. He was able to do a live.
Right. A 10-minute video.
A 10-minute video. And as per the rules on which we comply on the platform we are not showing the video because we can't show that because we have to be compliant of the platform rule, or else we would have showed the video. So there is a sort of a radicalization which is taking place. We have to be very mindful of it. And it's pretty much complex. We have to understand that the old debates have reignited. But coming back to Kerala, the NIA and the NSG team has been rushed. NIA is National Investigative Agency. It's primarily NIA looks after the terror cases. And when NIA looks after the terror cases, it means it directly reports to the center. National Security Guard has two components. One component is anti-hijacking and another component is the anti-VVIP. Now, this means that some sort of action, bomb disposal equipments are required because only NSG is armed with some better bomb disposal units. So, which means that maybe they are live bombs, maybe they are not live bombs, maybe they are inactive bombs. But I think to keep everything safe there, NSG's bomb squad has been pressed into action.
Right. Karthike, two things that I wanted you to touch upon a little bit. Number one, of course, even as we wait in terms of what the NSG is actually going to do on the ground, Jehovah's Witnesses, this particular community, not a lot of people are well versed in what this community actually is. If I read it out straight from Wikipedia, it's absolutely confusing. It says it's a non-trinitarian, millenarian, restorationist Christian denomination. So firstly, could you throw some light on what this community actually is? And you spoke about how the world is a polarized world amid the Israel-Gaza conflict. Under the shadow of the Israel-Gaza conflict, and even as the Kerala Chief Minister himself was speaking at a left party rally which was essentially a pro-Palestinian rally organized by the left party. How does one look at all of this? Jehovah's Witnesses, and is the timing suspect here?
I think the timing is suspect here, and let me go through the details as you're saying. The blast which has taken place, the blast in a convention center is something which must have been planned. One. Second, when we talk about Kerala, it had been a very peaceful state in the last 15 years. But what we witness right now is Jehovah Witness Convention Center is something I would say, and I really don't want to get into this, is this a misplaced act? But you see, Kerala has a very vibrant community, Jews, Christians, Muslim, Hindus. It's one place where Islam came much before North India and made its place a very peaceful place in Kerala. And most of them look like temples, like the mosques in Srinagar. If you go, they don't have the Islamic architecture. The facade of the mosque looks like, temple from outside. So, so the amalgamation was very easy. But yes, this serial blast is something which means that some sort of a work has gone behind it. You have the problem of PFI. PFI, I really don't want to get into this because PFI had become a slanging match, but the Popular Front of India, the sort of radicalization and the Salafi influence that has increased in Kerala is a cause of worry because obviously, Islam is a religion, but to use the word Indian Islam, what I mean is that it has absorbed the aroma of the Indian subcontinent. But when people get exposed to the hardened or sort of a puritanical view which exists in Saudi Arabia and other countries, that has added a discordant note. But now I think the police will need to see how did the bomb go inside, how was it placed, CCTV cameras,
Right.
places like these. I'm sure all these clues would be available. But this shatters the myth of peace. Peace comes at the cost of eternal vigilance. What happened in Israel on 7th of October is that they thought that they could rely on their weapons and they could rely on their electronics. Everything got subverted, Kabir. You saw that. Everything got subverted, Kabir. So sometimes, human intelligence is also required. And I'm really shocked that, in a time when the world is... Because from Ukraine crisis is very different from Israel. You see, Israel and the crisis in Palestine has the capacity to engulf and radicalize the entire world. Ukraine is a different ball game. Taiwan is a different ball game. But Israel, Palestine is cultural and religious. It didn't start 50 years ago with Sykes-Picot Accord. It went back to the Crusades. It goes back to the Constantine, the emperor. So I would say that what has happened in Kerala is a great cause of concern. It cannot be set aside. It cannot be set aside. More clarity is required. I would say, more people need to come out in terms of why. But the blasts, even if the IEDs and low intensity, as what you are reporting, Kabir, on your screen, 35 people have been injured. I think this toll is going to go high because when the blasts take place, there's a splinter effect. So even if you have a small injury, it can have the capacity to create infection and all that. So right now it cannot be said that only 35 people have been, because people get injured and the blast injuries are very, very difficult, and it depends on the nature of the lead and the nails which are used. So I would say that what has happened in Kerala is a cause of great worry, because it's like, if you have a problem revisiting, why did we react when this whole Khalistan issue cropped up in Punjab? Because the whole issue was dead and one guy was trying to rake it up, and Center did a good job. We don't even know which part of Assam he's there. But, we were able to take care of that conspiracy. Global conspiracy was there, and we responded to do that diplomatically. But this is
certainly cause of grave concern. Cause of grave concern. Karthikeya, even Netanyahu himself, speaking to the countrymen from Tel Aviv, said that everybody is going to be answerable once the war gets over, and this is going to be a long and difficult war. Everybody is going to be answerable, including myself, because how did the Hamas catch the IDF off guard? That's going to be a question, which is going to be the same questions maybe Kerala Chief Minister himself and the local authorities will have to answer over there. But in terms of the first confidence building steps, Amit Shah has spoken to the Kerala Chief Minister. The NSG has been rushed in. The DGP has been moved into that particular spot. The first confidence building measures, because there is a lot of people out there that might be panicking, they might be thinking about what's going to happen next. All of Kerala under high alert.
The Kerala is under high alert. I'm interested that, see, boss, you have to understand, Kabir, the blast has taken place in Kerala. The blast has taken place in Kerala. It's not a small story. It's a big story. Kabir, is it possible that we can play out that bite, Kabir, of the gentleman you just played out? Can I listen to that bite again?
Absolutely, we
Kabir?
can. You know what, Karthikeya? We're going to take the viewers through VD Satishan's bite, and we'll also listen into a quick bite from the community member as well for better understanding of what exactly happened over there. Listen into these, and we'll come back for more, ladies and gents.
അല്ലെങ്കിൽ വരാൻ സാധ്യതയില്ലല്ലോ. ഇപ്പൊ നമ്മള് സ്റ്റേജിലോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മോളിലോ ഇലക്ട്രിക് കണക്ഷൻ പോയിരിക്കുന്ന സ്ഥലത്തേക്ക് ആവുമ്പോൾ സ്വാഭാവികമായിട്ട് നമുക്കത് വല്ല ഇലക്ട്രിക് ഷോർട്ട് സർക്യൂട്ടോ അങ്ങനെയുള്ള സ്ഥലത്തല്ല ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പൊ എന്തായാലും വളരെ ഗൗരവത്തോടു കൂടിയുള്ള അന്വേഷണം ഗവൺമെന്റ്, പോലീസ്, എല്ലാ സംവിധാനങ്ങളും ഒക്കെ ചെയ്യാം. നമുക്കറിയില്ലല്ലോ. Okay. I was told that there were 2 blasts and there was a fire. Consequence first there was a major blast, second one was minor. And one lady died. 100% gone. And 25 persons are in the hospital. Out of 25, 6 persons are in ICU. Immediately started from there on, and they had a evacuation plan. Usually they are requesting to the audience regarding the evacuation plan. That is why the accidents and casualties are less.
Today morning at 9:40 a.m. approximately, there was an explosion in Zamra International Convention Center, Kalamasheri, in which one person died and 36 persons are undergoing treatment as per our information. In that convention center, Jehovah Witness regional convention was happening, and all our senior officers, including the Commissioner of Police and others, are at the spot. They are investigating the matter. Our additional DG Law and Order is already on the way. He will be reaching soon, and myself will be reaching the incident place shortly. And we are examining the all angles, and we will find out who is behind this, and we will take very stringent action. At the same time, I would request everyone to maintain peace, remain calm, and I also request that no provocative posts or hate posts should be posted on the social media. If anybody is doing such thing, we will take very stringent action against them also. Thank you. Preliminary investigation shows it is a IED device, and we are examining it. At this stage, I cannot tell anything. Only after investigation, I can confirm you the details. Nobody spoke to me from the MHA.
You're going there?
I will be going there right now. Okay.
Any special team is there?
We will be constituting a special team for this. Today itself. Today, after I reach the spot, we will constitute a special team.
We don't have any count. It was an accident. We all rushed out. That's all what we know. And we all rushed out, got everybody to safety. I don't know as yet. We're going in now. We're going to meet the officers, so we'll know what the situation is.
Well, so it seems like a lack of clarity on all these ends coming in from the witness over there, the committee member, and of course the DGP has now been rushed to the spot, saying that he hasn't spoken to the MHA as of yet, but a special team is certainly going to be constituted to probe into the Kerala serial blast at the convention center. Jehovah Witnesses, more than 2,000 of them, had gathered for this 3-day prayer session, and 5 minutes into the prayers, the blast went off. Many witnesses say there were 5. V.D. Satishan, a Congress leader, the opposition leader in Kerala, of the opinion that there were just 2. The blasts were heard, the first one at 9:30 this very morning, and ladies and gentlemen, at least 35 people have been injured, 7 of them in intensive care unit after seeking treatment in the nearby hospitals, one of them of course being the Kalamassery Medical College as well. One lady has succumbed to her injuries due to the blast. 5 of them, this is what we're picking up, went off at the Kalamassery Convention Center. With me on the broadcast is my colleague and Deputy Managing Editor Karthik Sharma. He continues to be with us. Karthik, we just heard the DGP. You wanted to hear into what V.D. Satishan had to say. Satishan over there of the opinion that he just heard the 2 blasts and it went on at 9:30. He's going to put the right kind of pressure on the ruling dispensation in Kerala to probe this to the best of their abilities.
See, whether 9 blasts have taken place, 2 blasts have taken place, one person has officially been declared dead, correct?
Right.
I think 30, that's what we are reporting, 35 people
That's
are
from
injured.
Veena George, Karthike, right now, the health minister, that 35 people have sought treatment, 7 of them in intensive care. Of course, that number may just go up.
Okay, so it means that this blast was of major intensity, because the gentleman who came on screen and he used the word accident, then the clarity is required. But the fact is that a person has died. Now, how did this blast happen? How can 35 people get injured? Whether 2 blasts took place or 3 blasts took place, whether there is something called undetonated. But NSG to be moved, NSGB to be moved from Delhi to Kerala is something of big importance, is very, very important. One. Secondly, I would say that 1 dead, 5 critical, 35 injured. At a particular point of time when that you had the speech in Mamallapuram, must have rung the alarm bells. We have to understand, we also have to understand that the lone wolf attack, power to radicalize, these are things which are not uncommon. You look at what has happened in Germany, look at what has happened in other places. In India, that has not happened. In India, those things have not happened. So we in a way, I can say that's the good part of it. Very few lone attacks, and we have been able to crack the organizations who have participated in terror attacks. So that way, India's success rate has been very good. But for people of religious denomination to die just because they belong to a different religious segment, and to have a blast like this in a polarizing circumstances is deeply disturbing. It's deeply disturbing, and I would say that more details are required, but uh, there has to be a semblance. It's not as there has to be a semblance. When similar greater intensity blasts took place, that was a case of a family which got radicalized. You see, a family got radicalized and they sold off the business, and then they participated in it. In OTT platform also made a sort of a fictional film on it, but they changed the place from South Asia to West Asia and Southeast Asia. So these family and individual radicalization is also something which we need to be cognizant of. But nonetheless, that it's happening in Kerala at a particular point of time when the whole issue of Palestine and Israel has been resonating across the state.
Right.
Is really worrisome. But then for materials, and the worst part is what with availability of knowledge and material to make explosives from things which are used in construction, things which are used in household renovation is very,
Right.
very disturbing.
Right.
For example, when we talk about Gaza, the pipes which are which are used for sewage are used to create tunnels, things like that. Rods, like for in the Indian context, in the rural areas are used to create kattas. They are meant for different things.
Right.
So the dual purpose material which is available in market is something which I really don't know how do you go about it. It's like those acid attacks in Delhi, or any other part of the country. So there are rules that you can't buy, but then something which is required for some purpose is used differently. So and then with the internet proliferation, there are issues. And I think we really need to be very, very cognizant of that.
With what's happening in Israel, and people are calling it that, it's helped the political unity of the country in Israel. It's brought, dissenting sides to finally come onto the same table and talk it out. Take a look at what Shashi Tharoor has said vis-a-vis the blasts here, Karthike. He's urged all religious leaders to unite in condemning such barbarism and help in probing this particular incident. Now, of course, you mentioned right at the beginning that this is not something that's new to Kerala, but the timing right now with what's happening, at the international level, and the timing right now, fresh issues for the Vijayan dispensation to iron out?
I think more than fresh issues, any matter of internal security impinges. The only government which escaped from the issue of internal security had been Congress twice. After the China war, Congress still came to power. And UP after 26/11 still won the election in 2009. So I would say a military defeat or a military success or any war which disturbs the society often leads to problems for political leaders. Despite winning a war in 1971, Indira Gandhi lost 77 because the economic disruption it created. The example of Churchill is the best known globally. So when we talk about a politician in the Indian context, anything which has to do with national security, it impinges on them. It impinges on them. It becomes a matter of how you deal with the state. So that is something which becomes really, really problematic. And I think in this case, Kabir, I would say, let the details will come out. We'll be speaking to a police officer. I'm being told that Dr. Vikram Singh, former DGP, UP, will be on Zoom with us, Kabir, with both of us. So we will be speaking with other police officers, but it means that the price for peace is eternal vigilance. Now, Amit Shah too has spoken to Kerala CM.
Right.
35 people injured is not a small thing. See, the real issue is what the people wanted to do. The real issue is the intention. The real issue is maybe they wanted to hit at more people. They succeeded less, but the intention was there. Now the whole conspiracy has to be revealed. Now the DGP has said that he doesn't want any material to be shared on social media, wrong information. That's perfectly okay.
Right.
The fact is that the police will need to answer, boss, how did this happen? I know police cannot be everywhere. It's not possible for police to have that godly sense of intelligence, but nonetheless, for someone to execute like this, and when everyone knew that, the whole Israel theater is radicalizing people, is something, a lot of answers will be sought, Kabir. It's not going to be left like that. A lot of answers.
One of the most intriguing questions that does arise in my mind is when I look at the visuals of the convention center, Karthike, and I'm sure you can have a look at them as well. Look at the buildings, look at the structure. The property looks like it's an expansive property. It's got swanky looking lawns and lush green trees. Sort of kind of reminds me of what the Indian Habitat Center here in the national capital sort of looks like. And imagine something like this happens over there. It's going to be a big story, a big question mark on the local authority, isn't it?
I think it's a big question mark on people. I think it's a big question mark. Absolutely, there's a big question mark. And I would say that it also holds people in responsible position answerable. How did this happen? And anyway, let the police will need to do its job.
Right.
Police will need to come out of the explanation. Lone wolf organization, a madman, or someone completely mentally deranged, which American shootings have proved that you have people from Anglo-Saxon, white men, committing the crime. Generally, the stereotype is must be from a different stock and religion. But then in America, that's not the case. So, motives are different. So, I think those detailing will need to be required to us from the police as to why this happened, why this place was chosen, why this low intensity blast was done. Was it to give the message? Everything will fall in place. Everything will fall in place in this. Everything
Absolutely.
will fall in.
Right. I think you've hit the nail on the head, Karthike. I think we must wait it out till the NSG and the NIA come up with some sort of clarity. Let's not all jump the gun here, but in the meantime, some fresh reactions have, of course, come across. Let's quickly play out those for the viewers to listen into what the opposition leaders are saying, listen into what the DGP is saying, one of the committee members over there, an eyewitness's account, exactly what we're picking up on there for you to consume. Take a look.
I went to that Kalamasheri Medical College Hospital. It is controllable. It is controllable. Only one serious case is there. They are shifting that patient to another private hospital. Total 36. ICU only one. It is controllable though.
Today morning at 9:40 a.m. approximately, there was an explosion in Zamra International Convention Center, Kalamasheri, in which one person died and 36 persons are undergoing treatment as per our information. In that convention center, Jehovah Witness regional convention was happening, and all our senior officers, including the Commissioner of Police and others, are at the spot. They are investigating the matter. Our additional DG Law and Order is already on the way. He will be reaching soon, and myself will be reaching the incident place shortly. And we are examining the all angles, and we will find out who is behind this, and we will take very stringent action. At the same time, I would request everyone to maintain peace, remain calm, and I also request that no provocative posts or hate posts should be posted on the social media. If anybody is doing such thing, we will take very stringent action against them also. Thank you. Preliminary investigation shows it is a IED device, and we are examining it. At this stage, I cannot tell anything. Only after investigation, I can confirm you the details. Nobody spoke to me from the MHA.
You're going there right now?
I will be going there right now.
Sir,
Okay.
any special team is there?
We will be constituting a special team for this today itself. Today, after I reach the spot, we will constitute a special team.
I was told that there were 2 blasts and there was a fire, consequence blast. First there was a major blast, second one was minor, and one lady died completely burned, 100% burned, and 25 persons are in the hospital. Out of 25, 6 persons are in IC unit. 2,000, around 2,000 immediately started from their own, and they had a evacuation plan. Usually they are requesting to their audience regarding the evacuation plan. That is why the accident is and casualties are less.
We don't have any count. It was an accident. We all rushed out. That's all what we know. And we all rushed out, got everybody to safety. I don't know as yet. We're going in now. We're going to meet the officers, so we'll know what the situation is.
Well, so Karthikeya, it seems like at this point in time, it's going to be a little tricky to explain how many explosives actually went out. I think it's best that we wait for exactly the right kind of word coming out of the NSG or the NIA or the DGP, as a matter of fact, as well. The DGP over there in the reaction saying that an explosive was heard, not using the plural form of the word. But then again, the DGP himself also said that he is reaching the spot and he's only going to be able to explain to us what's happening better once he's at the spot. Too many sips between the cup and the lip.
I think the clarity will be there will be clarity in context of how many blasts have taken place. 1 blast has taken place, 2 blasts have taken place, or in one place 2 blasts took place. That is a different thing. All those things will be very, very clear. But the most important thing is that 35 people are injured and 1 person is critical, which means that and who puts explosives in the middle of the hall? So the word which this gentleman was using, accident, we also need to know why did he use the word accident. But all those things would be cleared. But initially the reports were there were multiples. Now I think what is required to know is how many. But then for Home Minister to speak to the Kerala Chief Minister, an NSG team to be deployed, an NIA team to be sent very clearly means that the center is looking at this in a different way. Now when I say that center is looking it in a different way, I mean that there has to be a statement and a clarity. When we say it requires a statement and a clarity, we need to know the time, we need to know where it has happened, the visuals from the hospitals will be coming in. But then I think it's something very, very one person, it's a very serious issue. It's a very, very serious issue.
The health staff has been asked to return from their leaves. They've been asked to join back at various, government hospitals. The staffers who were, enjoying a Sunday afternoon, it seems like all of them have been called back. Veena George, the health minister of the state, really pushing all the staffers back into action.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I would say that this IED and low intensity explosive use, sources are saying, all these things can change. It's like, sometimes things are difficult to know. I'll give you an example. In Mumbai blast, later Sharad Pawar confessed. He spoke of the blast, the 6th, or I think the 7th or 5th or the 4th blast, because he felt that it should not turn into a communal riot. And he said, there was a blast which has taken place in probably a different area dominated by a different community. So sometimes, things don't reach us properly because there is a fog of information. Authorities want to sit on it. But the fact is that this incident is definitely the eyes will be on, because Kerala, coastal Karnataka are those areas which have seen radicalization. IUML politics is under scanner. The Popular Front of India has been under scanner. Center has raised those issues. Those issues of radicalization are there. Now, we don't want to be presumptuous. I don't want to pre-guess, but I can only say one thing, that this explosion or explosions, as they will be confirmed, one place or two places within one place, which is like in a big setup, will have to be confirmed.
You know what, Karthikeya? Now that you've spoken about the radical factor, which again, that radical factor is not the presumption that we're talking about here. We also know that the Kerala, government under Pinarayi Vijayan has been, really upfront when it comes to targeting the Bharatiya Janata Party over the raids that it carried out on the Popular Front of India by the NIA. The left party in the state is going to constantly target the Bharatiya Janata Party now. I can already see that political brinkmanship, taking form.
Yes, there's a political brinkmanship. There is a political fight which will take place. There will be issues which will come to fore, but right now what is required are the correct numbers on people injured, correct numbers on people in which hospital, correct numbers on the place where it happened, within that place, correct number, whether it's 2 or 3, correct number in terms of what the police knows about it, because police has now held a press conference. And I would say that when people say that, this has happened in Kerala, oh, it has happened. No, I'm not surprised. Kerala has its own episodes of terror events.
Right.
Not frequent, but not as if it has not happened. And to have happened will cause a lot of concern. See, it's not important in context of the casualties or the intensity. It is important in context of intention. It is important. It's like this, you have a terror incident in Mizoram. Mizoram has been stable after Lal Denga caught. It's a great cause of concern. Or if you have something in, say, Naxalite attack in some different area, then you say, boss, why has this happened? So these are the cause of concerns which needs to be addressed. And I think these cause of concerns should be addressed. And
Right.
they should be addressed. And I would say that unless and until we don't have the exact numbers, we'll quote our sources. A lot of TV, the local Malayalam channels are saying there are multiple blasts. Some are saying one blast, but I would say that the explosion has taken place. Let me clarify, it's a moving story. The explosion has taken place. Multiple versions are coming out. We as a responsible channel are saying that people are injured. More than 30 people are injured. Some are in critical care.
Right.
And we will be getting you all those details. But what is important is, why has this happened at a particular point of time when the world is engaged in a different sort of a mood in context of the war which is taking place in Gaza. We really sincerely hope that this does not, it's nowhere connected to any of those things.
Right.
But I would say that, once we are joined by, once we are joined by senior police officers like Dr. Vikram Singh, we'll be able to decipher it better.
No, you're absolutely right. And even as we're waiting for, a former DGP of Uttar Pradesh to be with us real soon, Karthikeya, one last thing. What we saw in the run-up to the new violence in Haryana in just a couple of months back, social media became one of those points where the police wasn't really keeping a close vigil on. Now that this blast has happened and people are going to start talking about it, social media becomes that power that is bringing everybody together. And even as it becomes a source of dissemination of information, a lot of misinformation and disinformation is also spread on the same platforms. How important is it going to be to keep a good, clean monitor on social media as well?
I would say that this is a very good thing that has happened, that the DGP has said that anyone trying to use this to exploit rivalry between people will be taken to task. And Nu is a very sad example where social media platforms were used to create violence. So I'm very happy by this statement that the social media should not be allowed to use to be used by people who want to foment violence. So in a way that is very, very good. So at the end of this program, I would only like to say to our viewers that we will be getting you all the updates, and we will be getting you all the details, but we will be getting you the correct details. We will not be getting you all the details in which the facts and figures change with every 15 minutes. No, we can be a little late, but we will be right. We will be understated, but we will be on point. And we will give you the best of local news, but we'll always draw out the national and the global connect from that. Kabir.
No, absolutely, because Karthikeya, the context, it seems like, is also equally important. And even as we talk about context, to put this blast into context, Vikram Singh, former DGP Uttar Pradesh, joins us on the broadcast. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Sir, of course, a somber note to begin the day with. Explosions, every day we don't hear about explosions taking place right in the middle of a convention center. I'm not going to throw a particular question to you. How are you looking at these developments, sir? Right in the middle of the convention center, a blast goes on. There are more than 2,500 people that have been gathered. Of course, various witnesses' accounts that we are having to deal with right now. And the details are also sketchy. But DGP's word, the only word that we're going by right now, he's saying that just an explosion, he doesn't talk about 2, 3 or puts a number on it, just one explosion at the convention center, and how the NSG, the NIA, everybody has been mobilized. How are you looking at these developments? What might be those intelligence failures that might have led to something like this in your expertise and opinion?
Very disconcerting indeed. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would say that we created an ecosystem. Let us see the developments for the last 3 days. The last 3 days have had series of processions and meetings, protest meetings, and that too in Kerala, and inviting no other than a live session with the Hamas chief. If this is not absolutely irresponsible, I really don't know what irresponsible is. The chief minister says it is very tragic. It is very disturbing. It is for the chief minister to give the clear message that they will get after the culprits. 1 death, 27 injured in the Jehovah Convention Center. I think we should have been more alert and ensured. But when we gave an ecosystem, the ecosystem was just right and we allowed this thing to happen. We should not have allowed people going in for pro-Hamas or pro anybody. We should have ensured peace. A peaceful procession is a constitutional right, but promoting and getting the Hamas chief to speak is almost incendiary and also inviting and promoting violence. And this was just likely to happen. And my advice to all DGPs would be to ensure that Hamas or any terrorist organization is not given a pedestal in your jurisdiction, because that would be courting the recipe of disaster. Of course, the Home Minister of India, his words are very reassuring that NIA should be on the job. Indeed, NIA should be. And NIA should come down heavily like a ton of bricks on all those who have perpetrated this blast. India cannot afford to have Hamas supporters or anybody indulging in this kind of activity. This has happened after a long time. It was best avoided and contained.
Right, and sir, at the same time, another piece of information that we're picking up at this point in time, of course, not corroborated, but we're also learning from sources that tiffin boxes were used for the first blast that went off. Now, I was asking the same question to Karthike as well. Imagine a place like the Indian Habitat Center, for example, here in the national capital. The Zamra Convention Center looks pretty much something like that. You've got swanky lawns, you've got nice lush, greenery, green patches and gardens. Seems like it's a well taken care of property, which again goes on to say that there's going to be a lot of security over there as well. Private security companies are usually hired for something like this. Tiffin boxes right in the middle of the convention center. I mean, seems like there's a thorough planning that's gone on.
Precisely. 25 years ago, we had similar blasts in Delhi, in Chandni Chowk, and in the Karol Bagh areas, and tiffin boxes were used. This is a favorite ruse used by the terrorists. Toys, tiffin boxes, pressure cookers in rural areas, and the like. Now that I know it's uncorroborated, but yes, we should have been more careful. Private security is very good, but they are not equal to the task when it comes to handling anti-terror material. This was a very sensitive place, and my advice, you very rightly mentioned that the festive season is on, the Karwa Chauth is there, the Diwali is around the corner. The police and the private security and every citizen of the country needs to double up as a security professional and ensure that no suspicious item or individual goes unnoticed, and they should be taken to task. Well, yes, the security has to be maintained very high, the intelligence has to be high, and actionable intelligence has to be procured. But yes, all sensitive areas, including the Jehovah Convention Center and the like, to be ensured, sanitized, so that something like this does not happen.
Absolutely. And, in the coming few minutes and hours to come, sir, what are going to be the first confidence building measures? I mean, we know that the Home Minister has spoken to the Chief Minister of the state. The NSG has been rushed in. The DGP is soon going to be there giving us, an updated account of exactly what transpired over there. But what else? What other confidence building measures would you suggest or advise to the current authorities and the DGPs on the ground?
Words of assurance, number one, from the DGP that yes, we will be equal to the task. Your police force has never let you down, and this also, we will never let you down. Have intelligence, mobilize people who can be made special police officers. Have pen sketches of the accused and let them and announce the reward of 10 lakhs each after the pen sketches are made by police photography experts. And I'm sure the telltales, and I'm sure NIA with its expertise would be able to give the leads by tomorrow. And yes, there has to be close coordination and the confidence building measures that police presence, obtrusive and unobtrusive, has to be there at sensitive areas, and no irresponsible action or no irresponsible agitation should ever be allowed now.
Right.
You have had enough of nonsense in Kerala.
No, all right. That's one way to put it, of course, sir. In terms of the radicalization, that is also not something that's new to Kerala or coastal, Kerala, the entire belt over there. Only last year, we saw those massive raids on PFI at the hands of the National Investigation Agency. You had Kerala Chief Minister come out all guns blazing against the central government, saying that this is nothing but political vendetta, and that brinkmanship is, of course, going to continue in the hours and days to come. But radicalization is not a new challenge, but is it going to be a different challenge for the authorities on the ground this time around?
You said it. Radicalization is the key to this problem. And radicalization in Kerala is at a different level. It was only in Kerala where the anti-government agitations and breakdown of law and order machinery in Kerala after the PFI raids. PFI, like now, was given a free run. And what did the Honorable Chief Minister say? Even he said, it is very disconcerting. It's very, not getting the exact words. But it was something, a very lukewarm response. Lukewarm responses under these circumstances are just incongruous and best not uttered. The words of reassurance should be, we will get after the accused and will be accounted as per the within the ambit of law. And no anti-national activities or anti-social activities or criminal activities would be allowed in the state of Kerala. But to your first question, radicalization is an issue, and that has to be contained through not only the legitimate means that they have, but also through the social means, community policing experiments, and where the telltale fault lines are, they have to be addressed not only by the police alone, but by society and the social activists also.
No, you've actually hit the nail on the head over there, sir. Coming back to exactly what transpired, can you help the viewers with your own sources? If you've picked up information from people that you've been speaking to, was it a single blast? Was it a double blast? Was it a triple blast? One witness has gone on to say that there were 5 blasts that took place.
I'm given to understand that there were serial blasts. Anybody who's planning something as big would not go unsatisfied. The telltale signs and the footprints are that it is a meticulous, well-planned attempt. It is not a dry run. It is a full-fledged attack. And I'm given to understand what I've been told. Of course, there is no corroboration. But yes, that it is a serial blast, low-intensity blast, but killing 1 and injuring 27 is bad enough. And I also am not very distressed to see that the statement that it is unfortunate. Sir, my advice to you would be, it is not for you to just say it is unfortunate. You should get after the jugulars of the perpetrators, and you should give a no-nonsense message to the people and to the police force that they have to be accounted for in the next 72 hours. Because if it does not happen, well, you have to raise the level of policing and intelligence collection to a very different level, announce rewards for information, announce rewards after the pen picture is out, and get special people after the leads, special teams to go after them.
Right, you're absolutely right, sir. I think we'll leave it there, sir. You said it right. Maybe Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan should have been more authoritative. Rather than speaking at that left party rally, that pro-Palestinian rally, he should have held a press conference rather. Maybe that could have allayed some sort of fears in the common public. But we'll leave it there. We'll wait for the NSG, the NIA and the DGP to come out with a proper statement. Vikram Singh, former DGP Uttar Pradesh, many thanks for joining with us on this one, sir. We'll bring you all the latest details. Keep watching News 9 Live for the rest.
Hello everyone, Namaskar. I'm music composer Ricky Cage. 3-time Grammy Award winner and a United Nations Goodwill Ambassador.